Hold on to your seats, Social Security recipients. What I'm about to share with you could mean thousands of extra dollars in your pocket this year. We're talking about the biggest Social Security shakeup in decades, and yes, millions of Americans are already seeing their checks increase dramatically. I'm talking about people getting $6,700 in retroactive payments. That's like getting an extra car payment for the entire year. But here's the thing, and this is crucial: not everyone knows about these changes yet. Some folks are missing out on money that's rightfully theirs simply because they don't understand what's happening. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand and what action you need to take. Let's start with the elephant in the room. The Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law on January 5, 2025, repealing two federal laws that have been reducing Social Security payments for nearly 3 million retirees for almost 40 years. This isn't just another political promise, this is already happening, right now. Here's what makes this so massive: through March 2025 alone, the Social Security Administration has already paid over 1.1 million people more than $7.5 billion in retroactive payments, with the average person receiving $6,710. Think about that for a second. We're not talking about future benefits. We're talking about money that's already hitting bank accounts. But what exactly got repealed? Two provisions that have been quietly stealing money from hardworking Americans for decades: the Windfall Elimination Provision, or WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, known as GPO. If you've ever worked for the government, been a teacher, a firefighter, a police officer, or worked any job where you paid into a pension system instead of Social Security, these rules have likely been costing you money every single month. Now, here's where it gets personal. The WEP affects more than 2 million retired public servants, while 750,000 spouses and survivors are affected by the GPO. If you're in any of these groups, your monthly check is about to get a lot bigger, and you might be entitled to a massive back payment. Let's talk dollars and cents, because this is where things get really exciting. People affected by the WEP repeal should see an average increase of $360 per month in their checks. Spouses affected by the GPO repeal should see a $700 monthly increase, and surviving spouses should get a $1,190 monthly increase. But wait, it gets better. Some retirees are seeing up to $587 more per month, which means we're looking at over $7,000 extra per year for some families. And remember, these changes are retroactive to January 2024, which is why people are getting those massive lump sum payments. Let me paint you a picture of what this means for real families. Imagine you're a retired teacher who worked 30 years in public education. Under the old WEP rules, your Social Security benefit was being reduced by $400 every month. That's $4,800 a year you were losing. Now, not only do you get that $400 back every month going forward, but you're also getting a retroactive payment for every month since January 2024. That's potentially over $6,000 in back payments, plus $4,800 more every year for the rest of your life. Or consider a surviving spouse who lost their partner and was receiving both Social Security survivor benefits and a government pension. The GPO was reducing their Social Security by 2/3 of their pension amount. For many, this meant losing their entire Social Security survivor benefit. Now, they're getting their full benefit restored, which could mean $1,000 or even $1,500 more per month. Now, here's where the Trump administration's involvement becomes crucial. The Social Security Administration has identified over $1 billion in cost avoidance and efficiencies for fiscal year 2025 through new approaches in areas like payroll, information technology, and contracts. What this means in plain English is that they're streamlining the system to get these payments out faster and more efficiently. The speed at which this is happening is unprecedented. Most affected beneficiaries began receiving their new monthly benefit amounts in April 2025, and anyone whose monthly benefit was adjusted or who received a retroactive payment got a mailed notice from Social Security explaining the change. But here's something most people don't realize: the Trump administration isn't just implementing what was already passed. They're actively working to improve the entire Social Security system. Estimates point to President Trump's tariff and trade policies having a tangible impact on Social Security benefits come 2026, with the average payout already making history by topping $2,000 for the first time since the program's inception. This creates a perfect storm of benefit increases. You've got the immediate impact of the WEP and GPO repeal, plus policy changes that could boost future cost of living adjustments. It's like getting a raise on top of a raise. Now, you might be thinking, this is great for government workers and teachers, but what about the rest of us? Here's the beautiful thing: this isn't happening in isolation. Social Security and Supplemental Security income benefits for more than 72.5 million Americans increased 2.5% in 2025. That's the standard cost of living adjustment that everyone gets. But here's where it gets interesting for all Social Security recipients. The efficiency improvements and system upgrades happening because of the WEP and GPO repeal are benefiting everyone. Processing times are getting faster, customer service is improving, and the entire system is being modernized. Plus, there's the ripple effect. When nearly 3 million people suddenly have more money to spend every month, that stimulates the entire economy. More consumer spending means more jobs, higher wages, and ultimately, higher Social Security benefits for everyone through improved wage growth and cost of living adjustments. The Trump administration is also making other changes that affect all beneficiaries. An executive order signed by President Trump mandates that the federal government stop sending paper checks for any payments, including Social Security benefits, pushing everyone toward electronic payments. While this might seem like a small change, electronic payments are faster, more secure, and less likely to get lost or stolen. Here's something that's flying under the radar but could be huge for younger workers: these changes are setting a precedent for future Social Security improvements. For decades, the conversation around Social Security has been about cuts and reductions. Now, we're seeing actual expansions and improvements. There's been a spike in early Social Security claims this year, with retirement claims on track to increase 15% from 2024. Some of this is due to concerns about the system's future, but it's also because people are seeing these improvements and want to secure their benefits. The message being sent is clear: Social Security isn't going anywhere, and in fact, it's getting stronger. The WEP and GPO repeal removes unfair penalties that never should have existed in the first place. It's a signal that future reforms will focus on fairness and adequacy rather than cuts and restrictions. For younger workers, this could mean that by the time you retire, Social Security might look very different and much better than it does today. The infrastructure improvements, the focus on efficiency, and the political will to actually expand benefits rather than cut them all point toward a more robust system in the future. Alright, let's get practical. If you think you might be affected by the WEP or GPO repeal, here's exactly what you need to do. First, check your Social Security statement. Log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov and look at your current benefit amount. If you see any mention of WEP or GPO reductions, or if your benefit seems lower than it should be based on your work history, you're likely affected. Second, gather your documentation. You'll want records of any government employment, teacher retirement systems, or other pensions you're receiving. Even if you think your case is straightforward, having documentation ready will speed up any necessary adjustments. Third, you don't have to do anything to qualify for these increases if you're eligible. The adjustments are happening automatically. But you should monitor your account and your payments to make sure you're getting what you're entitled to. Fourth, if you haven't been receiving Social Security but think you might be eligible for higher benefits now that WEP and GPO are repealed, this might be the perfect time to apply. The elimination of these penalties could make Social Security benefits worthwhile for people who previously found them too reduced to claim. Finally, keep watching your mail. The Social Security Administration is sending notices to everyone whose benefits are being adjusted, explaining exactly what's changing and why. This isn't just about Social Security, it's about a fundamental shift in how we think about retirement security in America. For too long, the conversation has been dominated by doom and gloom predictions about Social Security going broke. But what we're seeing now is actual problem solving and system improvement. The speed and efficiency with which this massive change has been implemented shows that when there's political will, Social Security can be improved quickly and effectively. Paying out over $7.5 billion in retroactive benefits to more than 1 million people in just a few months is no small feat. It required significant system upgrades and process improvements. This sets the stage for other potential improvements. There's talk of eliminating the cap on Social Security taxes, which would allow higher earners to pay in more and potentially increase benefits for everyone. There are proposals to improve benefits for long-term low earners and to provide better spousal benefits. The WEP and GPO repeal proves that Social Security reform doesn't have to mean cuts. It can mean fixes, improvements, and expansions. And when these improvements happen, they can happen fast and effectively. Looking ahead, there are several things to keep an eye on. First, estimates suggest that President Trump's trade policies could impact Social Security benefits as early as 2026, potentially boosting cost of living adjustments. This could mean larger annual increases for all beneficiaries. Second, the system improvements being made to handle the WEP and GPO repeal are going to benefit everyone. Expect faster processing times for new applications, better customer service, and fewer administrative errors. Third, watch for additional reforms. The success of the Social Security Fairness Act could pave the way for other improvements. There's bipartisan support for various Social Security enhancements, and the current administration has shown it's willing to act on them. Finally, keep an eye on your own benefits. Even if you're not directly affected by the WEP and GPO repeal, the system-wide improvements could result in corrections to your own benefit calculations or faster processing of any issues you might have. Here's the bottom line: we're witnessing the biggest positive change to Social Security in decades. Millions of Americans are already seeing significant increases in their monthly checks, and the improvements being made to the system are benefiting everyone. If you found this information helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Social Security is evolving rapidly, and I'll be here to keep you updated on every change that could affect your benefits. Share this video with anyone you know who might be affected by these changes, especially retired teachers, government workers, and their spouses. Most importantly, take action. Check your Social Security account, understand your benefits, and make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to. In a world where financial security is more important than ever, every dollar of Social Security benefits matters. The era of cutting Social Security benefits is over. The era of improving and expanding them has begun. Make sure you're positioned to take full advantage of these historic changes.